So I am streaming from my mobile device right now. I was not able to until I got up to a certain number of subscribers, and apparently I've reached YouTube's requirements for being qualified to stream from my mobile device. Wow, look at that. Hello, greetings. So, here today, very quickly, I'd like to share about a wide revelatory dialogue that's happening next Monday, November 22nd, called Gravity. Gravity. Gravity is for spiritually advanced beings who have master DNA. Okay, the link is in my bio. Like beneath this video to join us. This is a dialogue to where you and I make a decision about whether working together in 2022 is right or not. This is for spiritually advanced beings. What do I mean when I say spiritually advanced beings? I mean those of us who are complete with watching spiritual teachers on YouTube. We are complete with reading spirituality books or any books seeking life's answers. We are done with entertaining, your typical goddess circles and all the things, right? And you are ready to become your own center of gravity. What do I mean by that? I had a call with a client earlier today, and I said to her, when I say becoming your own center of gravity, what do you hear? And she's like, you know what, I gotta go look up gravity to, da 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 da. And I said, okay, what do you hear though? What do you hear right? Well, what I hear, she said, is like being a black hole with magnetic abilities, strong magnetic abilities. Exactly. See, so two parts there. One, what's really required for spiritually advanced beings who are going to be gravitational pulls for what you're creating in 2022 and beyond, right? Your heart's desires and pulling in everything that is required for the making the vision real, okay? The people, the money, the way of being, right? So this not needing to confirm, she's like, let me go Google that. No, you know. What did you intuitively know and hear when I said that? Okay. And she was accurate. So the two things is, one, that's what's going to be required of those of us who have master DNA. Master DNA. And I'm going to speak on what master DNA is in a moment. Moving from the subtlety, moving from the knowing without needing to confirm from outside sources. So that's number one. Number two, yes, becoming a center of gravity is a going lower experience. Okay. So we're very much, particularly in the manifestation world, oftentimes, for those of us who are serious about producing results, right? So, right, there's oftentimes a lot of up and action. There's like doing something, going to get it, creating. It's like an up, and there's a performative way, right? Especially for those of us who are online marketing, right? You're writing copy, you're doing videos. There's an up and there's an out, and there's an expressive sort of way to do things. Becoming a gravitational pull, a lot of it has to do with going lower. When I say lower, I mean sitting within oneself with all of the lower elements of a being. Any being, right? Well, not any being. Master folks, okay? Folks with master DNA. And the words she came up with were steep, bitch, steep. Okay. And in the lowered space, right? You could call it incubation, you could call it steeping, as she said. nesting, right? A lot of mothers who are preparing for childbirth, there's a nesting involved, and there's a which is very feminine. There's a within. There's an inner. There's a right. All that, everything I just described, right? Becoming a gravitational pull, right? In order for you to then come out into the marketplace, which is an upper experience, right? You come up onto video, you come up, right? And this could get long, so I'm being mindful of that. Then when you can come up and come on video or you do your writing, it's from a deeper place. So you're influencing from a deeper place versus this up, trying to be up and performative and I'm online marketing, right? So this is very goddess behavior, way of being, and this is temple work. Okay, this is temple, true temple work. Okay, so this is obviously to be able to be with the heat of this way of being. You know, as we were discussing, that there's just a lot going on that's very feminine and mysterious and not for public eye. Okay, there's such enormous energy around this. It's so enormous. So in you, it's enormous. For those of you who have master DNA, remember, I'm talking to those of you who are spiritually advanced and you have master DNA. It's a lot of energy within you, and your job will be to harness that and come down low within yourself, really become gravity and centered in this. And it's the being of this is has much more requirement than what I'm saying here, so that you can then come out and call in everything that's required and also be with men. Yeah. So the dialogue is that's happening next Monday. The link to register is beneath this video. Is to begin this dialogue between other master DNA folks, myself, and looking at what are you really doing in 2022? What is it like to be you? Have you got your blood pressure checked? And like really asking and answering the question, is the master blood that runs through me? Okay. Is this signature work that's in my blood, that's in my DNA? Is it worth my life? Is it worth my life? Okay. And if so, is working over a 1-year period, 2022, in a very close-knit communal environment with other master DNA folks, the direction for me, here with Witch Naima and the others, the few, is this the place for me? So it's going to be a very wide revelatory conversation. It's going to be, yeah. So this is what's happening. It's next Monday, and it's quickly I'd like to define what does that mean, master DNA, and then share a little bit. How long have I been here? Okay, 9 minutes. Master DNA, what do I mean by that? So we're all spiritual beings, right? That's human beings. We're all special descendants of the Almighty, right? Every single sentient being is an extension of the Almighty. Yes. And there are those of us, and this is not a debatable thing. This is very black and white. Okay. This is either you are or you are not. Okay. Have very distinct work that we're meant to do in this lifetime. Very distinct work. And it's in our DNA, it's in our blood. It's not something like many of us have tried to be like, I don't want it. No, right? We've already like tried to get rid of it, if you will. Okay. um, and when you have master DNA, the work that you are meant to bring forth, it's not like, well, somebody else can do that. It doesn't work like that. Like in the world of like, you know, not just normal people, but just like spiritual people, right? We see a lot of like Black folk are a spiritual folk. Okay. Humans are a spiritual folk. And then there's the degree that Black folk are. And then there's the degree of those who are master DNA folk. Okay. If we don't do what we came to do, there's nobody else who's coming to do it. One. Two, as I described in the last video I did, it literally doesn't let you sleep well. Okay. It has its own communication, its own language. That's why when my client said, well, I need to go Google that. No, you do not Google. You already know. You already know. You don't read a book to confirm. You don't get a reading to confirm. You know. See, and this is reconditioning ourselves, because part of the, she talked about it as a curse, was the way we allowed ourselves to be convinced that what we know is crazy. Okay. There's just so much out of order that's coming back into order now. And the master DNA folks, we have things, we know things. And you know that you have master DNA when you have tried to reject and abandon your work many times. Like, you're not new. You're not like, what's my purpose in life? Like, that's a different DNA. That's a different way of moving and being in the world. Master DNA folks, we have run from ourselves. We didn't want to do it. We tried to give it away. Right? And we've gotten slung by it. It won't let us sleep. We've come into depression. It's a very precise, fine dimension when we look at the array of spiritual folks. And I can speak this now in a way that I couldn't even speak it a year ago, because I was still even looking for somebody who could charge this thing and move it so I didn't have to come forward. Like, it was like the last ditch effort, right? And there are lots of powerful spiritual folk on the internet, right? Off the internet, who are amazing and alchemical and doing great, wonderful things, okay? And anybody who can get to a particular age can live on this planet and live a particular life. It's a reflection of what's actually moving through their blood, right? When I talk to us and I see how we move and behave, it's very fine, it's very precise, those of us with master DNA. The normal life, we literally cannot, like, since we were young, we've never been able to do like normal things and stick with it. So like, traditional marriage and just like traditional lifestyles and all the traditional ways that have been baked into the human psyche under the institution of patriarchy, whatever you want to call it, that's just normal today, right? That everybody else is very okay with. Even all the spiritual, powerful people, right? Powerful, spiritual, this king and his queen, and they're powerful, and they, and all that, and still they live a very normal, traditional life. See, that's different than those of us with master DNA. We vibrate, we move, we think. I'm talking too much. So that's who gravity is for. That's who is going to be a part of really calling in and interacting with our men to align the fracture that's in the psyche of a lot of our men, a lot of our magical men, okay? Who, the deepest elements of them have been fractured in a deep, deep way. And many of our goddesses who are at a different layer of the onion, okay, have been convinced that they are crazy and right, and have been hiding behind marriages and living particular lives because you're crazy. Who do you think you are? And so the work that we're doing, first, the dialogue that's beginning inside of Gravity next Monday. And then what will be continuing in 2022 and beyond will be to correct the radical disalignment that is being realigned now. So if you have questions, feel welcome to email me. My email will be beneath this video. To come into the conversation, the Gravity conversation next Monday, the link is beneath this video. And I'm complete. Thank you so much.